Good day, good love, and great light. Illuminators, wayshowers, moon gazers, and sun gazers. Good day. Thanks for being here today. I'm Wendy. This is my husband, Dave. Hi. Bringing to you Sunrise Languages of Lights, a little oracle reading here on this beautiful, full Hunter's Moon morning. So we're coming to you from the central Alabama here in the US of A, and it is a brilliantly gorgeous morning here. It's about 40 degrees Fahrenheit, so we're kind of snuggled in and tucked in. It's a little bit chilly, but yesterday was so icy cold, and but today is a gorgeous morning, and the full moon occurred where we are in the world at 6:26 a.m. this morning. So I was just inspired to do a quick video from here, having our coffee, looking out at the sunrise and looking out at just at the trees and listening to the birds and celebrating this moment. And I had a couple of oracle decks here that I wanted to share with you to see what messages come through from the light, the language of light. For my joy and expression is to share the idea that absolutely everything is connected, that through the language of light, light language, which is contained in all things, for all creation, emits, sings, speaks, shines its very own unique language of its light, just like you, just like me, just like Dave and the sun, and everything that we've ever created, everything that has ever been created and will be created is of the light. And it is its own language of light. And so it's been my joy to share these ideas and at the same time remembering the multidimensionality that is offered through this mode of communication, through my guides, from my guides, your guides, what messages are most relative to this moment for all of us. That includes me. The all-encompassing information and codes of light that come through all of this, because we are all things. All things are part of us, and we are part of all things. And understanding those ideas helps us all open up our consciousness to the understanding, once again, that this is within our consciousness. And what messages come through in, whether it's light language, oracle, Reiki, what we understand as Reiki energy.
Or some guy that says hi while you're walking down the street. They're all messages.
Everything. Everyone.
For you.
That's a good point.
By you and for you.
By you, for you. And that is really a big synchronicity for me today too, is that I was talking about how even this morning I've noticed that I've recognized in the last 24 hours all of these reflections from other people, but they're literally reflections of me, for me, information, just by them being themselves, saying what they're saying. I identified immediately my own limiting belief systems about myself, and not just identifying them, but allowing them, appreciating them, but yet not.
And then redefining.
Yes, redefining it. I even said those words to Dave. How do I redefine, this situation, so that I absolutely do see it as a positive reflection. To ves mashia les motavikema ijavasnite savasimono unkoropa kela as notavibihi linini atavekemoroba lishe eshanokimi ala avaha Ladismosupiki, Savasamala, Evisional, Tena, Tiavalo, Pahana, Kitub Koramba, Liginitisa, Saminyoto. Niato, and even now it's a feeling that I receive, not necessarily words. Milohalo ki porumba lisinite makorba ele masata vishno. So, and it's as if sometimes even like right now when I'm trying to come up with some kind of words to say, well, that's what this meant. It's like the words are just not there because it's not meant for that mode of communication.
Well, it's a co-creation. So these messages and the light languages that we are speaking are also meant for you, and you are going to interpret them through your heart however they're meant for you. So, sometimes we might speak light language and have no idea what we're saying, and it's not meant for us to know. It could be it is for us at a higher consciousness level that if we tried to translate it into words, it would be less effective. But it's also meant for you to feel and integrate however you so choose to integrate them for yourselves. And it's really just about allowing the frequencies, allowing the messages however they come to you, certainly audibly, visually, using your imagination. What kind of visions do you see when you listen to them, when you watch Wendy speak them,
or Dave,
or me, or whoever
or together,
you might
whoever.
be listening to speaking light language, or looking at symbols that they might have drawn, or artwork, or it works the same for everything. So allow the ideas to flow to you through your imagination, and it opens up more of who you are. And in the spiritual world, sometimes we talk about gateways opening and vortexes happening and energies being more predominant at certain times. But the facts are there is no time, and it's always you, and you're always it. You contain it all. So all of these ideas are just reminders of what you already contain, and there's no process necessary. Just like you're watching a video, and now they're showing a place that you've been to before, and you're like, oh, I recognize that place, I've been there. You immediately know everything about that place that you've experienced. That's all we're doing. We're just reminding you. And sometimes it's through light language, and sometimes it's through using synchronicities and cooperative components to pick a oracle card and share it with you. You're creating all this within your consciousness. So the card that we pick up and show you may be different for every single person. You're creating it. We're creating it. We're being a cooperative component to allow you to experience this, and it's all for your higher acceleration within yourself of knowing more and more of who you truly are.
It's of course all well put. Well said. As you're speaking, I'm reminded that it's akin to, okay, you sit outside, and like right now, we feel the sun, you hear the breeze, you may hear the chimes, you hear the birds. To me, that is also light language. It is the language of the light of so how does each person interpret we could have 3, 4, 6, 10, 50 people sitting here. Each person is going to interpret that moment sitting and doing the same exact thing. Each person is going to have a completely different experience. So how do we explain, how does just sitting in that moment in the trees, just hearing what you're hearing and your relationship to that moment is no different than listening to light language. The other thing when Dave was talking was I actually saw a vision of me envisioning everybody that we come in contact with as speaking their own light language, their own love language. If we could see everyone, just as you said, everybody is a messenger. If we see, feel, I want to say feel, because it's not about really seeing a vision of, but it's about feeling when I go and go just, about our day, grocery shopping, whatever. The person that you're interacting with in that moment, if you can recognize their language of light, their love light inside of them, the interaction is going to change both of you in a split second. It's very difficult to describe until you have actually experienced it. And I'd like to say that Dave and I do a pretty good job of doing that with everybody we come in contact with. It's kind of funny. And we live in a relatively small town. But it's funny, I'm just now thinking about that reflection. And that's what the full moon is, of course. The full moon is a reflection of the sun. And yet, each one has its own language of light. So, we're just literally just like everybody. We're just channeling the information that's coming through our hearts and sharing it as it comes through. It was just the sun was there, and it was like, oh, the full moon is this morning. Let's just share this moment.
So I would advise that you shouldn't question the excitement that you have towards something. Just do it.
That one just wanted to flip out, and that was that. I'm like, okay, because some of these are upside down. I'm like, okay, that's what's going on. I was like, what is happening? Sorry about that. I probably dropped the whole deck and then had to pick them up off the floor. So I'm gonna redo that one just in case. But see the smash shot. Okay, so I have the Queen of the Moon Oracle here. So I wanted to pull an oracle card in celebration of this moon, this hunter's moon. You know what? And that's funny because the nourishment card fell out, and I just realized it's the hunter's moon, and that's what this moon is all about, is about nourishment, really. And I should have just kept the card. But it was about nourishment and about how it celebrates the hunters and nourishment for the winter. So I thought that was important to share. The Native Americans named each of the full moons, and so this is the hunter's moon. So I wanted to mention that. And here's the moon cycles on the back of the card. And this card is number 14, focus. And the moon is almost full. It says it's the waxing gibbous moon. And this is funny. So today, as we're recording this, it's the 17th, which I also wanted to mention. The 17th, the date also equals 17. So we're not only in the 7-7 energy, but also 17 equals 8. So 7 plus 1 equals 8. So we're in kind of the 7-7-8-8. But this is the number 14. And focus. What are you focusing on? What are you nourishing yourself with? And it's funny because you see the butterfly there? I was literally this morning invited to a Facebook group about butterflies. And we were almost going to have a frost last night, but we apparently didn't. And we still have quite a few flowers around. So, and butterflies. So what is the message for you there? Whether it be the number, what are you focusing on? What are you, I see her focusing on what is going to expand her wings. Focusing on the transformation. Focusing on the higher mind. What is next? What are you focusing on? Are you focusing on the information your higher mind is sending you? Or are you focusing on limiting thoughts and beliefs?
So these are the cards that came out for me.
Okay.
And it says, surrender to peace.
Well, focus. And when I think of butterflies, don't we think of peace? I mean, I think of peacefulness.
Well, it's an interesting idea because everybody wants peace. But the way to get to peace is to surrender to it, just like you would surrender to other things. But you probably wouldn't think you need to surrender to peace. But that's what the moon is telling us.
The moon is telling us to surrender to peace. And I think that we all understand that whatever that means in our personal life, we have to remember that the world we're looking at is a reflection of our own thing, our own vibration. The more we put peace out into the world, the more we will move to that vibrational version of Earth for those of us who are seeking that peace, focusing on that peace, surrendering to peace, because we already know in our personal lives and our global lives, surrendering to peace is the only answer. And love and focusing on love and expansion is the only way to peace. Is surrendering to say, I, no matter what, am going to be at peace. No matter what's going on. And we've heard Bashar talk about it. We've heard Abraham talk about it. All the great teachers, old and new, but everything's now, have told us the same thing. What you focus on is what you get back. What are we focusing on?
And it's catchy. So
How
do you have peace in the world? Surrender to peace.
Surrender
within,
to peace within.
And allow the peace to show itself without.
If we are still allowing other people, things, circumstances, issues that we believe affect our peace, that is what we're going to continue to see. Until we all realize to surrender to that inner peace, we are not going to see that reflection in the world, the version of the world we're in. That is what it is. That is what this moment, this day is asking us to do. Like Dave said too, once you make the decision to surrender, it's over. You get to decide how many more times you want to revisit that frequency to let something else shake your peace. Because you're going to keep doubting yourself, and then you're going to see that doubt back by something allowing you to disturb your peace.
And anything that you see that doesn't feel peaceful is only a reflection of your own resistance to it. So, what are you resisting about peace? What are you resisting about surrendering to peace?
And what are you focusing on that you believe is shaking your peace, that's disturbing your peace? That's what your guides are asking you right now. What are you focusing on that is not surrendering to peace? You're the butterfly. Whatever that is for you, you're the butterfly. Your metamorphosis is complete as soon as you decide it is. And I am seeing beautiful reflections of that all over in
Let's
my
all
own world.
decide together.
Let's all decide, yes, right now, to surrender to peace and focus there. And Nialavas Miasha, a Kilemanoma Sapati Alavishnotea. Miniala Katia Balasmaso Totinchiara Kintia Tatavila Makoramba Levismasia Tavihi. Savisimia Tavia Malava Kanayama Atava Sobono Ojinakoya Emitai. Siva Samate. Focus on what brings you peace. Nialava Temisha Tewaha Lakene. What is your heart telling you? Nialavese me teves moshe. Elavesa matiamada niatoya. Thoughts matter. Thoughts become matter. What thoughts are you focusing on? And surrendering to the peace of the flow, that it's just a thought. And so is the thought of peace. So is the thought of self-love. It's been a big theme for me, self-love. I'm so powerful that I can have the experience of not loving myself, because we are so very completely loved that we get the free will to have the experience of not feeling love, that we can come back to the feeling, to the knowing that we're loved. That, I think, is what brings each and every one of us peace. Completely knowing you're loved and everybody else is loved too. Everybody else is loved too.
And everyone else is love.
And everyone else is love. So I think, Loves Meshiata, I think that was a beautiful message for this morning. I think we should, I think we will leave it at that. If we get a chance, perhaps I'll be able to do something live later on, so I'll put a little notice out there for everybody. But if this is our meeting for the day, it has been a joy and an honor as always. And understand that this has been a meeting of with your higher mind. We are simply a reflection of your own higher mind. So find the peace in knowing that you just had a conversation with your higher mind. And if we can all see that we're having conversations with our higher mind, no matter who we're interacting with, imagine the peace. Imagine. Maybe today's a good day for all of us to listen to our beloved John Lennon, Imagine. Imagine all the people living life in peace. I love you.